And here's the thing, you can't be in scarcity and abundance at the same time. You can't be in contraction and expansion at the same time. You've got to choose. You're in one or you're in the other. Where are you playing? Where are you at?
Have fun.
Thank you. Oh, how you guys doing? Good? Oh, it feels so good to be here with all of you today. Yes, many friends and many friends-to-be that I can see in this audience. And so, when I tune into Mindvalley and this room in particular, it's so exciting for me to start this conversation with you today because, I feel like the $1 million version of Regan was created in rooms like this. I feel like the $1 million version of Regan was pulled apart and made to feel really uncomfortable, but then grew in rooms just like this. And when I tune into the words manifesting millions, I feel it's so far beyond the money, right? Because money at the end of the day, you can't just get a room of money and roll around in it and feel really good. It's kind of not about the money, right? Manifesting millions is about tapping into a new sense of freedom that maybe you haven't discovered before. Manifesting millions is about saying yes when everyone else is saying no because they're too terrified to step into the light. Manifesting millions is about opening up freedom of choice, choices that you didn't even think were possible before. And manifesting millions is really about saying yes to a greater level of contribution that you get to play out in your life. And, when I tune into this room, I would feel really good if millions of dollars flew into the hands of people like you. Because at the end of the day, money's an amplifier. And if you're a selfish, greedy person that doesn't really care about humanity and you manifest a whole lot of money, that's just going to amplify that. But if you're an incredible being with a vibrant heart, with a big mission, with a huge purpose, and you really know that you're put here to change the world, money's going to amplify that and create that change. Is anyone with me? Right? And I kind of find it funny that I would be here having this conversation with you because, the path I was on didn't add up to me manifesting millions. It definitely didn't add up to me standing on the stage and talking to you. I grew up in a family in Auckland, New Zealand that is amazing. My parents are so beautiful, but they were very much part of the system, right? Go to school, get good grades, work really hard, you know the rest of the story. And so I was doing that and I was on this path and I was studying to be an architect because for years and years and years and years, my dad had said to me, Regan, if I had your opportunities in life, I would have been an architect. So on a quest to make my dad really happy, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was 17, 18, 19. So I went and I started studying. And I remember walking into a lecture theatre. It wasn't similar to this. It was just maybe a little bit bigger. And I remember sitting there and a new lecturer came out on stage. And he got us to do a visualization process. And I had never done anything like this before, ever. And he said, I'm going to take you through a process and you're going to see your future. And I thought, okay. And I remember sitting there and closing my eyes. And he said something like, welcome, future architects. Welcome to your future. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to picture your life as the architect that you were born to be 20 years out from now. And everyone got really inspired. You could feel the room. Everyone was breathing a little bit differently. And I closed my eyes and I saw the worst case scenario possible. I saw myself sitting in a corner of a room. It was 11 p.m. at night. I wasn't making the money I desired, and I wasn't living my dream life. I wasn't living into my purpose. And I had one of these moments where it's like my mind disconnected from my body, and my body got up, and it just ran. It ran out of the room. And I made a decision on that day that I was going to figure out, how do I actually create a life that I love? You see, I didn't start with a quest of how do I make millions of dollars and create a global empire and change the world and solve humanity's problems. No, I just wanted a life I loved. Is anyone else with me on that? It's like, I just want to get this sorted first, right? And so that threw me onto a path of personal development and going a little bit crazy on that, self-proclaimed seminar junkie. You know, I went home to Google because that's the generation that I'm in, and I Googled, how do you quit your 9-to-5 job? I didn't even have one. But I was like, Google's obviously got the answer, right? I came across an ebook that led me to my first wealth creation event. There were a whole lot of speakers on that stage, and from that day my mind began to crack open with possibilities, and I realized that separate to the system that I was in, maybe there were some other options, maybe there were some other ways to actually create my reality. And I got into a place where I was over $100,000 in personal debt. And this debt was not for cars and holidays. This debt was for coaching and mentoring and programs and education. And I remember sitting there saying to my mentor at the time, saying, you know what, Simon, I don't know if this is working. I've invested so much money and my life isn't showing me the results that I was hoping for. I said to him, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should just go and, get a job. Maybe that's my path. He said one thing to me that changed the trajectory of my life. It changed everything for me. He said to me, Regan, you see, you've got it all backwards. He said, success is 80%, the inner game, and then only 20% what you do on the outside. Exactly what Jason said to you before. 80% psychology, your mindset, your energy, your inner wiring, and then 20% the strategy. You see, I was obsessed with strategies. I was learning how to trade currency. I was learning how to, trade Forex. I was learning how to invest in property, even though I didn't have any money to invest. I was obsessed with the strategies. And it was from that moment that everything flipped for me. Because he said, Regan, how much work are you doing on actually conditioning yourself to succeed? And I said, well, what do you mean by that? He said, exactly. Right? And so that's when everything started to pull apart and shift. And I want to take you today a little bit behind the scenes on what it actually looks like. What it actually looks like behind your $1 million mindset. I want to take you behind the scenes of some of the things that I did and that I do with my clients to actually shift this 80%. Because exactly like Jason said, why aren't we all making millions of dollars? Why aren't we all tapping into abundance? Why aren't we all truly living into our truth in this way? And so when we start unlocking this and we start going through this process, I'm going to take you guys through 9 steps. And I'm going to do my best that I can to give you as much as possible in this short conversation that we have together. And then at the end, if we have time, I'd love to go in and actually do an activation and start activating your inner millionaire. Does that sound like a good plan for today? Yes. Okay. So I remember a moment where I was on this journey, and it was very much in the beginning of this phase of personal development, starting to unlock this from the inside out. And I started thinking, okay, well, if I want to invest in all of these courses and get all this coaching and really start doing all of this, I need some money to do that. Now, I was at university, and I started doing some promotional work and some modeling work through a company in Auckland, New Zealand. And the lady who ran this company was a friend of mine. And, she would send us to different events, private parties, things like that, and we would sometimes waitress, have photos. And I said, okay, look, I'm happy to do this. And for an hourly rate, it was pretty well paid. And I said to her, I have one rule though, okay? Here's my rule. I'll do any of the events, just don't put me on a boat. Don't put me on a boat. Because I had a nightmare that I was going to get stuck with a whole lot of really drunk men on a boat somewhere in the ocean and not be able to escape. And she said, no problem, no problem. I'd worked for her for about 2 weeks, and so far the first couple of jobs had gone well. And then I get a call from her early on a Saturday morning, and I pick up the phone. It's like 6:45 in the morning. And she says, Regan, I really need a favor. And I said, okay, what's up? What's happened? She was a friend of mine too. And she said, look, I've got an event today. They're an amazing group of people, incredible, amazing people. And, I've got 3 of the girls going out to work at this event. One of them's just called in sick. This person is such an important client to me. I'm so worried I'm going to lose the client. Please, 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 can you work today? And I said, yeah, it's okay. I can work. Where is it? She goes, yeah, it's on a boat. I said, Micaiah, you know, I don't do that. She goes, I know, but these guys are so nice. Please. She goes, if anything happens, I will hire a boat and come and get you. I said, okay. All right, I'll do it. And so I turned up on this boat to a waitress, right? And I think I was the worst waitress of the world ever, because I did not want to be on that boat. I was not happy about it. They were like, hi, can I have a water? I'm like, there you go. You know, I was not in a good vibe at all. And you know when you look at a group of people and you're like, oh, they're definitely accountants. Oh, they're lawyers. Oh, those guys are creatives. And you can kind of pick what people do, right? This was a work party. And I looked at all these people and I thought, what do these people do? I couldn't read them. I couldn't match it up. And so I said to one of the guys, I said, hey, this is a staff party, right? He goes, yeah. I said, what do you guys do? He goes, we change lives. I go, you're an asshole, okay? And then I said to another lady, you know, what do you do? She goes, we help people step into their best self. And I go, okay. I said to someone else, what do you do? And I kept getting these same answers. And I thought, okay, I don't know what these people do, but they've got the biggest egos in the entire world. And I sat down next to one guy an hour later, and he'd just finished having a really deep conversation about the money system in Singapore. And I said to him, you know, I've been asking everyone on the boat what they do, but I can't seem to get a straight answer. Can you tell me what everyone does here? He said, yeah, they work for me. I said, oh, okay. Well, what do you do? And he said, we have an education company. It's a company that helps people unlock themselves from the inside out. And it helps them create their own realities so that they can live a true life of freedom and earn the money they desire. I said, well, that sounds amazing. And I had a really deep conversation with this guy who actually ended up being a very pivotal role in my life and my development and my personal growth. And he turned around at one point and he said, so Regan, what do you do? Now, I was a broke student, struggling in debt. I had no idea what my life was. I just knew I wanted it to be different, right? And I turned around to him and I said, Jamie, I'm building my dream right now. I'm building my dream. Is there anyone else here building their dream, by the way? Right? And he said, oh, wow, okay, I love that. What does your dream look like? And I said, you know what? I'm not sure. I don't even know. And no one had asked me before that moment what my dream actually looked like. And I realized on that boat, I couldn't really tell him. I wasn't clear on what I wanted. I wasn't clear on the money I wanted. I wasn't clear on my lifestyle. I wasn't really clear on any of it. It was just more. It was just different, right? And here's the thing. If you're not clear on your vision and why you want it and where you're actually going, then you don't have containers for the money to flow into. You don't have reasons for it. It's not enough to say, I want to be financially free. I want to make millions of dollars. Okay, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that actually mean to you? Why? And so I went home that night and I started getting clear on that. I started creating containers for my money to flow into after this conversation with the guy on the boat. And I got so clear and so specific on these containers, I invite you to do the same. It's not just like, oh, you know, I want to do this with my lifestyle. I want to go on this holiday. I want to go over here and do this. I want to contribute to this charity. How much? Write it down to the dollar. And you know what you'll find? Chances are, when you add that up, you don't even need $1 million. I mean, having millions of dollars is great, but you don't even need $1 million potentially for your dream. When I started realizing that, I thought, okay, wow. Okay, well, if I wanted to generate $1 million, what would I do with this other chunk? I don't even have a reason for it right now. Why would I create something in my life if I did not have a reason for it? Right? So I started getting super clear on this and going into this. Are these, oh yes, good, okay. I've got the next slide on here and this one on here. Perfect. And then after I'd gotten clear on this visioning work, I want to fast forward you to a moment probably about 8 months later. And I walked into a personal development event. I was 19 at the time. I was by myself. I didn't know anyone else in the room. And I sat kind of near the back of the room. And the first speaker walked up on stage. And he was so confident. And he stood there and he talked about property. And I thought to myself, he looks really familiar. You know, maybe I've seen him on TV before. Maybe he's really famous and I just don't know. And then the next person got on stage. And I thought, he looks really familiar as well. Maybe I've read a book or something and I just don't remember. And then the third person got on stage and I thought, I recognize that face. I thought, what is going on here? And I couldn't figure it out because all these people look so familiar, yet I didn't know them. And then someone tapped me on my shoulder and I turned around and this guy said, Regan! And I had the same thing. I recognized him, but I didn't know who he was. And I said, hey. He said, you're the girl from the boat, aren't you? I said, yeah. I was the one that was the kind of rude waitress on the boat. That was me. And I ended up chatting to him. And we worked out that obviously it was the same boat, right, that I'd ended up on. And he said to me, look, we're having a staff event tonight, a party at one of the houses. He said, you should come along. It's a speaker's evening, but you'll fit right in. I said, wow. And I went to that event later on that evening, and I walked into that room, and I felt so small. I felt so insignificant. I saw all the people that I'd just seen from the stages making so much money. They've created so much success in their life, and these were incredible heart-centered people that were doing so much good in the world. And I walked into that room, and I just thought, I don't belong here. Has anyone else had that? Where it's just like, I wish there was a switch which made me invisible and made me go away, right? And I realized I had an option. I had a choice. I could either run, my body, my survival instincts wanted to run, or I could actually figure out, okay, how do I survive this room? How do I stay in this room? And I thought, I know, I'm just going to figure out how they all created their success. That's a good idea. Let me interview them all night. So I walked up to them and I would chat to them and I would ask them, I would say, you know, you were so inspiring on stage. How did you really do it? Right? Like, what can you tell me that you didn't tell them on stage? And after all of my information gathering and speaking to about 40 people, I went home later that night totally confused. Because they'd all done it a totally different way. A totally different way. Different strategies, left, right, and center. And so then I lay in my bed and I thought to myself, okay, what is it about these people that is actually the same? And I realized that they felt similar to be around. They had a similar energy to them. I noticed that when they walked into a room, their shoulders were back, their attention and their focus was high. You could feel their heart. They were grounded, they were confident. And I thought, how did I walk into that room? Well, firstly, I was hoping there was a button that would make me invisible. My shoulders were down, my focus was down here. My energy said I didn't want to be here, please don't see me. And I thought, I wonder if I just start being like that, if that'll make a difference. And so I started walking around as the $1 million version of Regan, even though my bank account was in the negative. And if anyone had known what I was doing, they would have probably told me that I was completely insane. But I started asking myself, okay, how does the $1 million version of me walk? How does the $1 million version of me talk? How does the $1 million version of me choose to wake up in the morning? How does this version of me move my body? How does this version of me fuel my body? What does this version of me say yes to boldly? What does this version of me say no to? What kind of people is this version around? Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down here? Because you all have this $1 million vision. The thing is, are you actually choosing to live into it? So I started living into this, and the next day I went down to the supermarket, right? And I remember walking into the supermarket as the $1 million version of Regan, and I was confident, and my shoulders were back, and I thought, okay, and I picked up the what's it called? The little bag thing to put your food in, right? The carrier. And I was walking around, and then I noticed myself thinking, okay, well, I've got $54 in my bank account. So what food would I want today? I think I would want some fruit. I think I would want this. And I started walking through the aisles. And when you have $54.20 in your bank account, you calculate whether it's going to add up at the end, right? And so I was adding things up as I went and checking that it all fitted into $54. And as I walked through the fruit section, I saw the blueberries, and I love blueberries. I absolutely love them. They're one of my favorite fruits. And I went to reach for the blueberries, and then I saw the sign. The sign said $9.20. I was like, oh, I can't afford the blueberries. I can't get the blueberries. It's going to be too much. It's going to put me over. I can't do that. Okay, let me grab the strawberries instead. I didn't even like strawberries, but I got the strawberries, right? And as I put the strawberries in my trolley, I thought, is that how the millionaire version of Regan shows up? Is that how the millionaire version of Regan shows up? And I thought, what would the millionaire version of Regan do? I thought she'd probably get the blueberries. And so I realized, and here's the thing, you can't be in scarcity and abundance so much time. You can't be in contraction and expansion at the same time. You can't be in scarcity and abundance. You're in one or you're in the other. You can't be in contraction and expansion at the same time. You've got to choose. You're in one or you're in the other. Where are you playing? Where are you at? I realized I was living in scarcity. And even though I was writing out these $1 million dreams, the details in my life were still reactions of scarcity. And I thought, okay, this is what I'm tolerating. This is actually what I'm tolerating. And I made a decision in that moment that, all right, I'm actually going to shift this. And I'm going to shift this level of tolerance. Because here's the thing, and I really want you guys to get this. We don't necessarily always get what we dream about, but we do get what we tolerate. If you want to know what your level of tolerance is right now, look at your life. Everything you have, everything you don't have. Everything around you, all the people around you, all the people not around you, the money, the lack of money, all of it. Good, bad, no judgment. That's simply what you're tolerating. So, how do we start shifting this? You want to start raising your level of tolerance. Because wouldn't you agree with me that everyone has big dreams, right? Generally, people that come to these events, right? They have big dreams, big goals, big aspirations. The problem is not, can you dream enough? The problem is, what are you actually tolerating? And how do you shift that? And how do you raise that? So from that day, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to tolerate scarcity in the details anymore. The millionaire version of me was created in the details, not from the big things, not from I just donated this much to charity. No, those things come later. The creation was in the details. And where can you choose abundant details right now? Where can you choose to go, you know what? Actually, I want to do this. And if the difference is a whole $4, I think I'm going to be okay, right? Choose the blueberries. Choose the blueberries each and every single time. And then once you start shifting your level of tolerance, you need to start elevating your blueprint. And you need to start looking behind the scenes around what's actually running this, okay? Now, I know this talk was called something about millionaire mindset, but I tricked you. We're actually going to talk about energy and embodiment, and a whole lot of other things. So if you're using just your mindset, it's not enough. We've got to start playing with the field around you. For those of you who didn't see my talk in Tallinn in last Mindvalley year, it's online. Go to the Mindvalley YouTube, you can look at it. I break down a lot of this around energetic architecture, the field, how it stores patterns and codes and information. You can go and do that. We don't have time today. All you need to know is that there is a blueprint underneath the surface that's actually running the show. Now, think of this blueprint like a thermostat. How does a thermostat work? If a thermostat has set to a certain temperature in a room, let's say it's set to keep the room really hot and it's really cold outside, and you open all the doors and cold air comes in, what is it going to do? It's going to work on overdrive to keep the room at the same temperature, right? Your money thermostat works the same way. And your money thermostat sits right in the middle of your energetic blueprint. Now, what this means is that if your thermostat's set in this place, even if you do more, even if you dream bigger, even if you do double the amount of hours, even if you work harder, you still kind of earn the same amount of money. And I've seen this in so many people. So many people, even super high-level clients come to me and they work with myself and Wampa, and we look at it and, they're making millions of dollars even per month sometimes, and they're making the same amount. And they're like, it's not shifting. I've started this new business. I changed the strategy. I redid my marketing. It's not shifting. Yeah, because your thermostat's set at that. Now, if you want to figure out what your thermostat is, you guys can do this after this session. Simply take your income, your cash received over the last 6 months per month, right? So you take your monthly amount for the last 6 months, take an average of that. That's your thermostat, whether you like it or not, okay? And it's from this place of awareness that we can go, oh, okay, cool. That's my current money thermostat. And then from there, we get to start choosing a new thermostat, right? If we're not intentional about it, it won't shift. So you can start choosing a new figure and start going, okay, cool. I want my thermostat to now be set at this. See how this is very different to goal setting. You're not just randomly pulling a figure and going, oh, this is my money goal. No, you're actually working behind the scenes to take your thermostat and consciously tell your money blueprint to shift to that. Now, what has to happen in order for that to happen is that we've got to start actually aligning our belief system to be in alignment with this, okay? Because if we set our energetic thermostat, but our mind is telling us that that's impossible and you'd never earn that amount of money and you don't deserve that, then that's not going to click, right? So this is where I invite you to write down at least 20 beliefs around what you now choose to believe about your new thermostat. For example, I choose to believe that this figure is now my thermostat. I choose to believe that each and every single month, this is my new minimum. I choose to believe that every day I connect with this thermostat. I choose to believe that this money manifests with total ease and grace and flow from doing what I love every minute, every breath. That's your soul work, okay? At least 20 of those in order to align to that. Is this making sense to you guys? Yes? Beautiful. So the next layer to this is we need to start shifting anything which is blocking you or stopping you. I was at a point where I was rewiring my money thermostat, and I'd set up my new one and I was doing the belief work, and I was still making the same amount of money each and every single month. And I knew that if something wasn't manifesting into my reality, then there was something blocking it or stopping it that was actually limiting me and not allowing it to fully manifest into the physical. I was working with a mentor at the time, and I was frustrated at this point. She's like, Regan, if you haven't manifested it, there's something blocking you or stopping you. I said, yes, but you don't understand. I said, all the fear, all the doubt, all the sabotage, all the limitations, I've dealt with that. I've cleared it out. Like, you don't even know. I've done so much work to clear all of this. I don't have any blocks left. She said to me, Regan, not being humble enough to see your own blocks is a block. And something just fell down and I went, oh, okay, please, universe, God, source, if I was humble enough to see my blocks, to see my limitations, to see my fears, to see my doubts, to see my sabotage patterns, what would I see that's blocking me or stopping me? This. And you see, guys, we never get to this place where there's no fear left. If anyone tells you that they're fearless, they're not. They're disconnected from their fear. They're not actually willing to feel it. And I would encourage you through this process to ask yourself to have a fully human experience with this. A fully human experience where you have a full sensory experience and you get to feel all of it. You see, you're in the car, right? And you're driving this car towards your vision. You're super clear. You've got your money containers. You're clear on where you're going. You've stepped into the millionaire version of you. You're doing all the work, the thermostat set. You're driving the car. And then all of a sudden, you notice something's in the car. And as you have this awareness, you look in the rear vision mirror and you're like, oh no, it's fear. Fear's in the back seat. And fear starts creeping forward. And all of a sudden, fear starts to suffocate you. Fear starts to cover your eyes so you can't see. And you're driving and you're like, oh no, the fear, it's overwhelming. Who's had overwhelming fear, by the way, where they feel like their body can't even move? I've had that a lot. This is where you have a choice. You have a choice to either get out of the car and go, whew, Okay, that's way too much. Thermostat back down. Comfort zone active. Okay, that feels better. Or you have a choice to be one of the 1% of the 1%. I believe that everyone in this room is just that. You have a choice to drive the car and solidly and firmly with courage and conviction say, fear, I know that you're here to keep me safe. I know that you're here to protect me and make sure that I survive this lifetime. I've got this. In fact, fear, look how good it looks on the other side. Look how good it looks when this money manifests. Look how good it looks when I get to contribute to the world in this way. And something starts to melt. And that's where you drive forward anyway, even though you know fear is still in the back seat. And that's okay, right? Who's willing to dance with their limitations? Yes? And play with them instead of trying to numb them and actually shut them off, right? So then after we do this and we handle these limitations and we start to dance with them, we need to energetically get into the right place, okay? We need to energetically feel like the millionaire each and every single day. And I get asked this all the time, Regan, how do I feel like a millionaire if I've never manifested $1 million because I don't know what it feels like? Okay, valid question, but anything you've manifested that you haven't had before, you didn't know what it feels like until you had it. So you have to create the feeling. You've got to cultivate the feeling. The $1 million version of me was created from the inside out. So much so that when I made my first $1 million, everyone asked me all the time, what did that feel like? What did you do? Did you celebrate? Did you jump around? I said, it felt like, yeah, this is awesome and I'm grateful, but this almost feels normal. It didn't feel weird. It didn't feel big. It didn't feel, oh my God. No, it felt like, yeah, awesome. I've felt this for days and days and days. I've felt this for days over years. I've felt this every single minute, every single breath. And how do you do this? Close your eyes and simply ask yourself to feel, what would it feel like if I actually manifested millions of dollars? If that's too big, if that's too much of a jump, what would that feel like if I manifested $100,000? Start where you need to start. For some of you, it's what would this feel like if I manifested $100,000? Right? That's okay. Start wherever you need to start. And you get into this feeling, and once you have that feeling, here's one of the things that I do over and over and over again. All my clients do it. Get a phone firstly, and then get an alarm on your phone, okay? And set this alarm. It's going to be called your manifestation alarm or your manifesting millions alarm. Set the alarm at least an hour, every hour, all day, right? For as long as you can do this. Different if you've got calls or meetings, whatever. But if you can do it, set an alarm to go off on the hour, all day. And choose a nice alarm, not like, like choose a peaceful alarm, okay? Like a good one. And then when this goes off, all you're going to do is you're going to stop. You're going to stop for 2 minutes, no more. 1 minute. If you don't have 2 minutes, 1 minute. And you're going to close your eyes and you're just going to feel the feeling of what it's like to receive that money. Okay? What is it like to actually receive that money? Because here's the thing. If you can't receive it, you won't receive it. Okay? Someone was outside in the corridor as I was walking in today, and I caught a conversation walking past, and you know, one of the girls said to this other girl, like, oh wow, you know, I really love your dress, and the girl automatically from her gut said, it's old, you know, it was cheap, you know, I've had it for ages. They're going, oh, it looks really nice on you, know, and the other one went, oh, you know, it's nothing, and I nearly cried walking in here because I thought, oh, that used to be me. That was Regan. People would say that to me. I love your dress. I love your hair. I love this, anything. I would deflect it instantly. Thank you. I would deflect it instantly. I would say no. I would give them 50 reasons why they were wrong. Why? Because I couldn't receive it. And I had a mentor say to me once, Regan, you know, you can't receive the money that you want to do the things that you want to do in this world because you can't even receive a compliment from me. So how many of you know that it's your soul work to start saying yes and thank you when someone says something nice to you? Right. And here's how not to do this. Oh, thank you. Yours too. No. That doesn't work either, because that's what I then started doing. Thank you so much. I love yours as well. No. Deflection. Thank you. And can you sit in the uncomfortableness of receiving that until you get comfortable with it? Until you get comfortable with it, okay? And what this starts to do on a cellular level is it allows you to start embodying this at a deeper level. You see, you can't just do this from your mind, as I said. You've got to take this into a cellular level with every breath, with every walk. You know, I use Wampa's quantum flow method in terms of going into this with the embodiment. We're going to talk about this more on our Abundance Codes workshop, I think is next week on the 16th, I believe. So we'll go deeper into this. And the next piece, which I want to dive into with you guys, is to start cultivating your inner millionaire circle, okay? Because you cannot rise into your greatness if you don't have people around you that are supporting you into this, okay? You've probably heard this before. You are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. That is true with money, but that's true in every area of your life. If you find 5 people that are making millions of dollars, but they're super overweight and they're using that money for crazy, horrible things in the world, yeah, that will rub off on you. That will have an effect. So choose your people wisely. Choose your people wisely. And you want to utilize this circle to lift you up, You may know someone so dear to me in my circle. Her name is Lisa Nichols. Yes, yes. Yes. And I was talking with Lisa. This was probably about a year and a half ago. And we'd spent a day together. And at the end of the day, I asked Lisa one question. And we ask ourselves these questions all the time. I said, Lisa, what do you see in me that's holding me back? What do you see in me that I can't see, that I'm not noticing? Please tell me. I want to hear it. She said to me, Regan, you're walking way too softly on this planet. She said, you walk into a room and you still dim your light. You still dim your light because you're worried that you're too bright or too shiny. She goes, that's holding you back. That's holding you back in your money. It's holding you back. She goes, that's holding you back with all of it, baby. Right? But it's these conversations where something activates in you, something actually shifts, right? And then it's from this place that you go out into the world and you take aligned action. It's from this place that the strategy comes in. It's from this place that you hire your team. It's from this place that you develop out your marketing. It's from this place that you do a live stream on Facebook. Can you see where the 20% clicks in? It's right at the end. Don't even try and touch this piece until you've nailed everything else. And it takes work. I'm not going to tell you, yeah, it all happens overnight. No, you've got to play with this. You've got to breathe with this. This has been recorded. You can watch this over and over again. Pull apart the steps. Pull apart the pieces. Allow yourself to really go deep with this. And when you take the aligned action, you're not going to do this from a place of, what do I do now? How do I make it happen? When you say, how do I make this happen? You're undoing all your work because you're operating from a place of fear. Because you're asking, how do I, little me, make it happen? And if I don't make it happen, it means it's not going to happen, which means I'm in a fear vibration. Instead, ask yourself, this is all done. I've locked it in, chosen the thermostat, I've done the work, I'm the millionaire version of me, I've cultivated my circle, I've got everything down. How can I now show up to participate in this process? Last time I checked, this is a co-creation with God or Source, the universe, your divine purpose coming through you. How do you get to show up in that? And from that place of aligned action, how do you play and dance into that? That's an extremely expansive, abundant energy to be in, rather than a fear and lack and scarcity type of vibe, okay? So, I want to make sure that we get to activating all this. So, here are the steps quickly in case you guys missed them. Activating your multi-million-dollar vision, becoming the millionaire first. Becoming the millionaire first. Do that twice. That wasn't step 3. Becoming the millionaire first. What was step 3? Someone yell it out. Shifting your level of tolerance. Thank you very much. Okay, that's confusing because that was step 4. Okay. Rewiring your money blueprint, releasing the toxic money blocks, physically embodying the millionaire within, cultivating your millionaire inner circle, and taking aligned action. If the steps are mixed up or they're not right, go back and watch this. So, do you guys want to utilize the rest of the time that we have to dive deep into an activation and start pulling all of this in? Okay, this is going to be a fast, deep process, simply due to time. Usually I would utilize at least half an hour to an hour for something like this, but we're going to deep dive and get into the core of it. You don't need to understand what's going on. I'm going to utilize a whole lot of different modalities. If you're curious about them and how they all work, again, check out the talk on energetic architecture. This is an energetic architecture process in the frame of tapping into your millionaire version of you, okay? So it's easy and simple. All you get to do is close your eyes and receive. It may feel similar to a guided visualization at points of time. I also utilize an extremely potent tool, which I call light language. Is anyone familiar with light language? A few of you guys, beautiful. So in short, this is a series of tones or sounds. You don't need to understand it. It may sound like another language. It's perfect. What it does is it works on your energetic field, okay? It recodes all the patterns and all the pieces of information in order to bring you back into wholeness, into connection with your higher self, and allowing the millionaire version of you to drop down and truly be embodied. Does that sound good? Yes. Okay, so let's dive into it. I want you guys to ground deeply into your seats firstly. Pop down any paper, pens. I want you to get comfortable. This is a closed eye process. Taking your time to ground into the space, ground into the room, aware of your breath. That's it. And from this place, go ahead and simply deeply close your eyes. That's it. Having awareness right now of the group around you, allowing yourself to feel everyone's energy and intention as we go deeper and deeper into calling in and activating the $1 million version of yourself, the abundant version of yourself, allowing you to live in abundance in every single area of your life. That's it. And from this place, go ahead and pull up a screen in front of you. And as you witness the screen, you notice there's a movie playing on the screen. And the movie on the screen is you living into your $1 million vision. And I want you to watch this movie and be aware of what's going on. Who's in this vision? Who's not in this vision? What are you doing? What's going on in that exact moment? That's it. Good. And now go ahead and simply jump into the movie. Whew, that's it. Jump into the movie screen and allow yourself to witness the movie through your own eyes. Good. Noticing what's going on, hearing any of the sounds, feeling what's going on right now. That's it. Good. And from this place, you notice that something feels a little bit different in your body. As you notice that in the field around you, as you feel it through your physical body, your energetic blueprint begins to shift. That's it. Notice it begins to shift and upgrade as your level of tolerance begins to rise. What you've been currently tolerating in your reality, you no longer choose to tolerate. That's it. As you allow all of this to shift and rise and bubble in your body, noticing any sensations which come up. That's it. Good. Allowing all of this to continue to upgrade through the field of the heart, upgrading all of the geometries within your heart. Allowing all of that to drop deeper and deeper at a cellular level. Good. And you're aware, or maybe not aware right now, that right now we're clearing out all of the generational lines, linking any of this past money distortion through your family, clearing 7 generations forward, 7 generations back, allowing these lines to simply clear and shift, bringing them back to their divine natural state. Good. And going ahead right now and clearing out any distortion that has been imprinted upon your field, any worry, any fear, any doubt, any lack. This is not yours. This is not part of your higher self. This is not the true essence of who you are. We request right now that all of this goes ahead and shifts and clears out of your system, allowing it to clear out of your system, out of your body. Clear, allowing all of that to shift and clear, shifting out. Good. Beautiful. And from this place, you notice in this movie screen, as you're continuing to see everything through your own eyes, there is a ball of golden light hovering just above you. And as this ball of golden light gets clearer and clearer and clearer before your eyes, you notice that this is indeed your higher self who has showed up right here, right now. Because you're that important, your higher self has come all the way back from your future, all the way back, allowing you to settle and connect with your higher self right now. You may see your higher self. You may just know that it's there, but either way is just perfect. And from this place, your higher self begins to come down, dropping down, even deeper, dropping down through the head. That's it, coming down into your physical body, coming down into your throat, settling deeply into your heart. That's it, as your lower self now merges with your higher self, allowing your higher self to be loaded and coded within each and every single cell of your being right now. That's it. And in the vision, as you are aware of everything going on around you, you notice that you are now seeing things differently. You are feeling things differently. You are hearing things differently. Good. And from this place, go ahead and now jump out of the movie screen. And that's it. And so now you're witnessing this movie once again. Now go ahead and make any final adjustments to make this movie absolutely perfect, absolutely divine, exactly as it's meant to be for you right now. Good. And take this movie screen now and surround it with golden light. That's it. Allowing it to now transform before your very eyes and shift into a ball of golden light that's hovering just above you and just before you. And as this golden ball of vibrating light is hovering right there, allowing this golden ball of light to come down and enter your heart. That's it. The vision, the truth of who you are, the future snap of who you just saw allows to come down right into your heart. That's it. That's it. Coming down right into your heart center right now, settling gently in your heart. And when it is there, allow this ball of golden light to implode through every single cell of your being. That's it. Allowing every single cell to be totally coated right now with the essence and the truth of who you are, with the essence and the truth of the future that you are choosing to step into in this very moment. That's it. That's it. Good. And now sending this vibration out to all of humanity, whether they are aware of this or not, anyone that is willing to receive these upgrades, may they receive them also. That's it. As everything shifts out, as you expand your heart and open and send out the pulsation to your inner millionaire circle, as all these divine beings of light feel and hear the pulsation and they are pulled into your reality through divine synchronicity. That's it. Allowing you to settle down deeply into your body, deeply into the earth, grounding in all of these shifts, all of these upgrades, all of these transformations with so much gratitude, requesting that these upgrades continue 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, until they are fully stabilized and complete. That's it. Having awareness of your breath, awareness of your body, allowing yourself to center deeply back into the space, back into the room. That's it. And when you are ready, you can gently begin to open your eyes. That's it. Good. So this will continue activating in your field. Just be present with it. You can utilize the recording of this to go into this. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here with you all, and I celebrate each and every single one of you stepping into the highest versions of you. I love you.